Love of God and love of neighbor, 31st Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B. In today's Gospel passage, a Jewish scholar asked Jesus which commandment of all the commandments from God to Israel is the most important commandment. Jesus responds by quoting two Bible passages that were well known by the Jewish people. The first passage is from Deuteronomy. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Hear, Israel, Yahweh our God is one, and you shall love Yahweh your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. Jewish people at the time of Jesus devoutly prayed these verses 3 times a day, and that would of course include Mary, Joseph, and Jesus himself. The second passage Jesus quotes from is from Leviticus. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus combines these two commandments, one from Deuteronomy and one from Leviticus, into one commandment in a similar way that every coin has two faces. Every coin has two sides. A coin that only has one face, only one side, does not actually exist, except in photographs. To be real, it must have two sides, two faces. Similarly, for our love of God to be genuine, for our love to actually exist, it must be expressed by love of neighbor, the other side of the coin. Combining two commandments from the Old Testament into one great commandment surprised the scholar, but this was not the only aspect that delighted the scholar so much that he exclaimed, "Well said, teacher, you are right." Then, after the scholar repeated the two commandments Jesus had combined into one commandment, the scholar said that this is worth more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices. Brant Petrie points out that the other aspect that surprised the scholar is only evident if we carefully compare the first passage which Jesus quotes from with Jesus' words. We will see that they do not exactly match. This is because Jesus adds to the passage from Deuteronomy 6:4. He changes it a little bit. According to Deuteronomy 6:4, we're to love God in 3 ways: heart, soul, and strength. Jesus, though, states that we are to love God in 4 ways, not just 3: heart, soul, strength, and mind. Jesus' 4 ways of loving God is more demanding than Deuteronomy's 3 ways, since Jesus' 4 ways also entails the very thoughts in our minds. Jesus' insertion of the mind into the verse from Deuteronomy 6:4 could be a reason why the Jewish scholar exclaims that loving God in these 4 ways that are then verified by love of neighbor is worth more than any burnt offering. In a burnt offering, what is offered to God is completely offered, completely consumed, completely given, completely burned up with no remainder left. Similarly, if we love God with all our heart, soul, strength, and mind, even with the thoughts, in a way that is actualized in life by love of neighbor, we also are offering ourselves in a total, complete manner to God without holding anything back for ourselves. The more we love by integrating these 5 ways of loving, the more we grow in perfection, the more we grow in unity, perfect unity with God, and unity with one another. According to the spiritual master Dom Skupkoli, the highest degree of perfection consists of directing our heart, soul, strength, and mind to God in a way that is made evident in how we love practically. This victory over ourselves by allowing God to be the one Lord of our hearts, souls, strengths, and minds, asserts Skupkoli, is more meritorious in the sight of God than if we should tear our flesh with the sharpest disciplines, fast with greater austerity than the ancient deserts of the fathers, fathers of the desert or convert multitude of sinners. And that's interesting. He said it's more meritorious than even to convert multitudes of sinners. Scupoli adds that it is true, considering things in themselves, that the conversion of a soul is without doubt infinitely more acceptable to the divine majesty than the mortification of our disorderly affection. Yet every person in his own particular sphere should begin with what is immediately required of him, by offering my mind, my strength, my will, my whole being to God. Today, may we seek more intensely spiritual perfection by loving God totally with all our hearts, minds, souls, and strength, and in so doing, love our neighbors with the heart of Jesus, with the mind of Jesus, with the soul of Jesus, and with the strength of Jesus as members of His mystical body, the Church. God bless.